Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on this nice, beautiful fall Wednesday. We're very excited to be presenting this webinar with sponsorship and partnership of the Centurion Group, and a really kind of exciting and very relevant topic this year, especially with so many things going on, and obviously every retailer and brand being very, very busy these days. So it's a very exciting topic that we're talking about today, about how to really be that gift buying headquarters in 2021. And it's a little bit interesting of a take. I know, if you've attended some of our other webinars, we of course talk about having a competitive edge in terms of, being the jeweler in your area that is the leader and getting people to come to you rather than the other jeweler. This is kind of geared around more getting someone to come to you for a gift rather than, just buying an iPhone or something, outside the category of jewelry. So we're going to dive into how your digital experience of your store and your shopping experience should and can be represented so that shoppers and consumers in your area know that you are the one to come to when it comes to wanting to buy a gift for that special someone. So let's jump in. So quick introduction. My name is Eric Pereira. I'm the Director of Business Development for Smart Age Solutions. If you're unsure who Smart Age is, we are a digital marketing agency that is specialized and exclusive to the jewelry industry. So our specialization is digital, and we only work in this industry representing nearly 300 retailers in some way, shape, or form, as well as a handful of brands in the industry trusting us with their digital strategies and partnerships. One of the very, very unique things about us as an agency, as differential to many of the other agencies out there, is our partnerships with some of the most trusted brands, as well as some of our levels of partnerships. So we are the only Google Premier Partner agency in the industry. And what that basically means is we have higher levels of partnership resources with Google. It is a status that we get and have to earn based on the way we run ads and maintain service quality to the brands and retailers that we represent. And it's something that has to continue to be earned. We also have partnerships with Facebook for Instagram and Facebook marketing, as well as content creation. So like Google, we work very closely with them, have resources there that basically allow us to deliver better content, higher performing ads, and higher performing e-commerce material that helps use these platforms to help our customers become more successful. Again, we're trusted by a little over about 300 retailers and a handful of brands, some of the biggest in the industry, that rely on us to really handle that digital experience and keep them on the cutting edge. So some quick, a real quick mission statement of ours as well is this is really why we're in business, right? To really take that brick and mortar jewelry store and take that local retailer and grow them, get them strong commitment, competition, and owning their own backyard when it comes to sales, growth, and branding. So now that we've kind of covered the background and information, I want to jump into some of the points we're going to talk about today about being that gift buying headquarters, right? So as we go through the webinar, if you do have questions, you could throw them into the chat. I reserve some time at the end to go through some questions. There'll be an email as well. If your question doesn't get answered, you could pop us an email and we can make sure you get contacted to go over those questions. So this is a very unique year, right? I mean, could have said that about last year too, right? About the whole last 18 months has been very unique, but where the things I wanted to focus on is where and how all these different changes that we're experiencing in consumer behavior have affected us specifically in Q4, in the most busiest time of our business and of our lives in these last couple months leading up to the holidays. And it's really about making sure that you guys are in a position to get to customers almost before they're racking their mind about what gift to buy, where they should go. The old take a walk through the mall to figure out what to buy someone, that really can't really happen anymore. That experience isn't what most people are doing. They're expecting very curated content and information to come to them digitally. And this is what we want to help retailers do, is get to those gift buyers before they've really felt like they run out of options or realize that they don't really have many ideas. So what we're looking to accomplish today is really get some of this information out to you, starting with just the shopping trends in 2021, a little bit of interesting things happening this year that you guys need to know about, so you can prepare for and create resources to dedicate to managing the different trends that are happening. We're going to touch on the social media presence, and obviously nothing. It could, of course, be a huge can of worms to go through too much social media, but I'm just going to focus on a couple of the newest innovations and some of the newest enhancements that are available to you guys that are really about selling more and getting more customers coming in. And also that preparation and that kind of facelift to the website that should and needs to happen during the holidays. We are, of course, not talking about massive overhauls to the website. This is not the time to dramatically change something that's working for you or has been working right now, but little preparation tools that you could be having here to get the most out of this holiday season. And then finally, I'm just going to close it off with a couple things related to the customer experience, just some subject matters and tools that have been around, I would say, the last 12 months to maybe 2 years, but how the experience on some of those tools has been changing. So just to kind of set the table a little bit, I wanted to kind of have everyone think about what a gift buying experience is like. I was reading up a lot of data, and there was a lot of consumers that had shared that a lot of what goes through their mind when they're buying a gift for someone isn't fully just that person's reaction or everything related to how happy that person is going to be. There's a really strong, subtle feeling of, what is my experience like buying that product or getting that gift for someone? And that usually has a lot to do with the gift that someone ends up buying. Is what kind of stuff do I have to do, or what does my experience look like to get that gift that someone wants? I mean, I've been there. I've thought about gifts before for special people that are a little painful and kind of painful to acquire or get accomplished, and it kind of strays me away a little bit. So knowing that consumers are out there, of course, trying to make people they care about happy with a gift, but also making sure that they're not going through too much pain and frustration in the process of making people do that. So think about that through this webinar as we go through some of this information, right? So talking trends, this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, right? I talk to retailers every day. I hear the word busy at least 5 times within the first minute of us talking. Sales are up, bridal sales are up, average ticket was up, people are closing more sales. In a lot of ways, our industry, had a lot of success, across the board. One thing that's shifted a little bit, and some things to kind of address this year, is holiday shopping. Now that we've come through probably a busy summer season, double weddings because all the postponements from 2020. Now we're moving into the holiday season. One thing that's really interesting this year is eMarketer here predicts that and is showing that over half of customers are going to start shopping and get shopping done before Thanksgiving. So even before Black Friday, that day that is starting to kind of be watered down a little bit into a week, into months, into all these different ways of getting people interacted. October, first half of November, pre-Thanksgiving is going to see a lot more traffic there, right? So this is why right now, beginning of October, it's important to have different measures in place and have these strategies in place to make sure that you're capturing these things. There's a lot of things contributing to this, right? I would say a really big prominent one that people are hearing about more and more are supply chain issues, right? Across the board for all products coming from overseas. If you've been watching the news lately, they're showing cargo ships that are just lined up outside of New York's ports and LA's ports and nowhere to go and nowhere to drop off. There's staff issues on the docks, all these different things. So all of this ripple effect is being communicated to consumers and is getting them to look at, start shopping, even e-commerce shopping, all those things much earlier than usual. Another thing that's changed is promotions are a little different. Big brands, big retailers aren't doing these, 24-hour periods as much anymore. It's less in terms of amount of promotions, but they're lasting longer, right? Target is already starting deal days, which is starting October 8th. This is October 8th. They're already starting holiday shopping. So consumers are already getting messages or very close to getting this messaging to get their shopping done, get in for deals. Again, a longer period of time, to make decisions, to look at different products, and it's all starting and happening earlier. This shouldn't be too much of a surprise, but I think it's important to remember this as a retailer, especially something you take a lot of pride in is more and more folks are wanting to shop small and shop local. I know obviously it's hard to see that sometimes when you see the kind of business that Amazon does, but when it comes to memorable gifts or experiences or things that have a lot of meaning, those are the kinds of things that people are really looking for, that local source where they could have a shopping experience or they could have a relationship with the place that they're buying it. So these are important things, important trends to remember. Like I said, I think that the timing is probably the most important, that now all of this stuff is getting going here. So first, I want to go into a little bit of social media and how Instagram and these social channels have really changed the game a bit and really updated a lot of the way people can interact with products, right? No surprise here, right? I just wanted to throw this stat up to give some context. If you need something, product or service, you go to Google, right? We know it's 9 out of 10 people are doing that. What most people don't know is almost half of consumers are searching social media for products and services. There's still this kind of, a very prominent perception of social media, somewhere we go just to kind of browse and see what other people are doing, whether we know them or not. And then we take some inspiration or get ideas from there. But more and more, especially millennials and moving into Gen Z, more people are going to social media and actually searching, making very intentional searches for things that they're looking for, products and services. I can go to Instagram and start looking for a jeweler near me. I could start typing jewelers and Instagram will populate listings of jewelers that are in and around me that are shop worthy. And all of this results is based on the quality, the interaction, and the feedback that their Instagram page is getting, right? Hashtags, people do search those things. They find especially specific products or brands that they're looking for, and they look for this type of stuff to get ideas, to get different inspiration as to things. I just did this search just a few days ago, Christmas gifts for her. And I mean, just in the top 12, there's a handful of jewelry posts already there. So this is the type of important things that are happening in Instagram, where people are using these tools to actually go out and find things, right? And it kind of goes to that old trend, right? How Instagram and social used to work is you'd see something, you'd get excited about it, and then you go on some journey, usually through Google or somewhere else, reaching out to the person to try to figure out, where do I get that from? How do I find that? Right? There was never really that direct path to acquiring the product or service. Instagram realized that, right? They've changed and made innovations to their product so that people can cut out that search and they can access it directly from there, right? They can fall in love with it and start shopping it right away, right? So Instagram Shop is one of that probably debuted over the last couple of years that has really been fine-tuned and used by more and more brands, right? Being able to integrate your store and your products that you're selling online right to your Instagram page. So folks can see these products in your posts and shop them right away, see pricing, see other images, be able to interact with the product without having to leave the app. And also getting information on those products too, right? So posting, you can add the tag to your product that you're posting about. This is very common when you use models or lifestyle images that have multiple products, necklaces, earrings, tagging them individually. So again, people can see the lifestyle image and get the inspiration from the model and that setup that's there, and then also know very easily how to acquire that product. And all contributing to collections, right? Being able to really allow you to represent your brand, represent the products and the kind of whole look that you guys are going for. All of these features are there in Instagram that allow customers to interact with products faster and easier. So these are the types of tools that you guys need to be taking advantage of to make sure that when people are interacting with finding you on Instagram, that they have a very smooth and accessible path to making that product theirs, making that product something that they're going to buy or acquire for someone else, right? The experience should be very smooth like that. Someone should be able to see your profile, look at your shop, see different tags, pull up that product directly from seeing that image, know exactly how much it costs, see other images of it, add it to a cart, and get moving along and buying that product. To kind of summarize some of those points in social media, right? Like I said, this is a really big bucket of information that social media and best practices can be. I want to just hone on a few things specific. How engaging your content is what's going to give your ranking more quality and allow you to show up more when people are going into searches. So post new products, in-store photos, things that get a lot of reactions from people, real life customers. And as of starting now till the holidays, you should be sharing quite often. You should be getting on, posting a story, new products almost daily at this point. And some actual posts of products should be coming into your feed every week. You got to keep reminding people that you're there, keep reminding people that you have new products, that you're there to service them, that this is fashion forward and a place for them to come as well. And then of course, tagging these products, making sure that whatever you're sharing, people know exactly how easy it is to acquire them from your social page. We've talked a lot about in the past about how important a website experience is, right? And how your website is essentially another location. If you have 3 locations on a website, you technically have 4 locations. And that's really how you should be looking at your website. Is this should have the same amount of care and be able to convert sales just like your top salesperson that is showing products and giving people the in-store experience, right? It's very important to lead your customers or customers that are looking to shop for gifts to the areas where they can find these things. A really good example is if you think about Target around late August, right? They have, when you walk in, usually a whole section on school supplies, pencils, books, paper, binders, everything. Now, those products are in the store 12 months out of the year. There's an office school supply, section always there. There's a reason why they don't just assume, oh, it's August, people will find it. If they're looking for it, they could go to our usual school supply section. No, they know better. They know that unless they dedicate an area that's high trafficked, that is going to get this stuff sold and give them what they're looking for close to the entrance, close to a place that they could find it, it's just not going to happen, right? Unlike seasonal items, obviously that come in and out. The something like the school supplies that are in there 12 months out of the year, they are still making a very concerted effort to present all of those things that they know people need as easy as possible. Your website should do the same thing. Yes, maybe someone might have an idea and maybe they want to buy a bracelet or a necklace for someone or a watch, but don't make it hard for them to find in your website. If they're coming to your website for whatever reason, because they saw an ad, because they're new, because they've been there before, they need to see that you have a dedicated area for gifts, that you have curated and presented and put together inspiration and great gift items that can work. This is what's going to help people shop longer, want to do business with you. You're making it very easy for them. And once they are into those pages, continue to keep them engaged, right? If they're looking at products, they should be seeing recommended products, related products, a matching necklace that would go with that earrings, to kind of keep the search and keep the shopping really active, right? You may have heard this before, is you don't want your website to have dead ends, right? This is keeping the lane open and keeping them browsing products longer. That's going to, of course, lead to a better chance of them buying. And face it, not everyone's going to pull the trigger the first time they see a product online, right? Especially something meaningful. They might see it once, they might look at it, get an idea of the price and kind of what it looks like, and what it could look like. They may leave, ask other people's opinions. So it's very important to re-engage customers that are shopping on your site with your brand, with your product, right? Whether there's emails automatically going out because they left a product in a cart, or you're remarketing them with remarketing campaigns that are designed to be banner ads that show up when they're visiting other sites or going about other things online. Very important, especially between now and the rest of the year, that people that are looking at these products, again, knowing they're not pulling the trigger on the first try or the first visit, to keep them coming back to shopping with you guys. And for those people that are ready to pull the trigger, that you've gotten them, maybe it is their third visit, maybe they came back because you emailed them, got to make it easy, right? Your website should be equipped with very, very useful tools, easy ways to get them to purchase the product, right? Saving payment information. You got to remember, most of these folks that are doing business online, they are used to things like Amazon, and they are used to these new e-commerce experiences that make things very easy to accept money. Apple Pay, one of the newest features that is going into these websites, right? You can add it to a card, hit Apple Pay, you double tap the side of your phone and it's done, right? That's how important this stuff is. We pulled some stats that showed almost a third of customers will abandon a cart if the payment and checkout process is too complex. I think we're all victim of that when it asks you for, is your billing address the same as your shipping address? God forbid it isn't. Oh my gosh. Right? So think about these things that contribute to the experience and how much of the technology that you could leverage to make sure that sale gets pushed in and standard there. So one thing in kind of summarizing some of these things, right, and things to think about when you're creating those sections on your site and kind of deciding, I would say put some modest price products in there, right? It should cover all demographics. You should not want to, fully alienate too many people that might be at a different price range. Also, you could very well be the second or third gift that someone's getting something. So, maybe the budget for that second or third gift isn't as big. Maybe they've already got them an experience and they want something to complement that as well. So think you might be complementary gifts to an even bigger gift. So remember to kind of cover all price points to make sure you're catering to all different shoppers. Another important thing is, if you do have the item you're promoting in stock, promote that it is in stock. right? So especially these days, I talked earlier about supply chain issues, and there's a lot of customers out there that are looking for items that are out of stock. Someone wants to buy their loved one something for the household items, barbecues. I just saw an article about how these household items are on back order and it's very hard to get them in. They're running into a lot of situations for other gifts or other items that are saying out of stock, out of stock. The more you could promote the items that you're sharing that happen to be in stock, the better. People are going to be very refreshed to see that tagline. If it's something they like, then they know that it happens to be in there. All right. And remember, again, to remarket every person that comes to your site, make sure that they're continuing to see you, they're adding products to cart and leaving them, that they're getting those triggers and making sure that that information can bring them back into the site and get them shopping with you guys. So one of the last points is I want to touch on is just a few items on the shopping experience, right? Like I mentioned earlier, there is a lot that goes into why someone buys a gift that happens to be with their own experience in acquiring that gift, right? So over the last couple of years, I know text messaging and text chat through a website has started to grow. I've seen most retailers have some form of text chat in their site or are using these types of tools. If you're not, it's something you need to get on immediately. It's a great way to capture that customer when they're looking at products and have a question and start conversations. But one thing to think about is the days of just a very standard conversation. Hey, do you have this product? Yes, we do. When would you like to come in? It is kind of dying down, and you need to really elevate the way you interact with people via these messages, right? You should be using and sending images and having much more compelling responses via your text chat than you were a year or two ago. If someone asks a question, do you have this product in? Like I said earlier, if it is in, send them a picture of it. Yes, we do have this in, and you can send a picture of yourself holding it. That brings that product to life. That brings the whole experience. Wow, I know that is sitting there, and then they can drive them to take action. Also, we have this. Here's 3 others that are very popular with people that were shopping for this product as well. Again, information, images, getting their inspiration and interaction. It's that step above an experience that is one, going to set yourself apart and keep this person a lot more engaged when it comes to products. And lastly, we talk about this a lot. Reviews are so important, right? I won't bore you with stats about how many people actually read reviews and it dictates the customer. But during this period of time when website traffic, in-store traffic, shoppers are coming through the doors a lot more, really, really be disciplined with collecting reviews. If you're not using a tool or a software tool that makes it easy for someone to write you a review, that you're able to either text or send them a link that allows them to put a review up immediately, please start using one. It is very, very important that during the next 3 months, you are really taking advantage of all of those experiences. And again, if you're doing all the great things we talked about with the online experience, people want to give that feedback. People are excited when they're going through and getting an experience above and beyond what they expected, and they do want to share it. So when you're in your store or online, make sure that this is something you're staying very disciplined with. Everything you collect, all of this review content that could be shared in your website, shared on your Google and Facebook profiles, will help you guys obviously get more customers, but obviously have better results when people are looking for jewelry stores or products and services that you search. So in closing, guys, I just kind of want to summarize how important this stuff is to really commit to your brand and how it's represented online. right? This is, again, I know you guys take a lot of pride in your in-store experience and all these tangible things that happen when someone walks physically into your store. But remember that it's just as important to do that online as well. And I would really, really challenge you guys to dedicate resources that are just there to make sure your digital experience is always top rate, right? As much as you can make sure that someone is only taking care of the digital experience. I talked to a lot of successful retailers over the past 2 years that have actually brought on staff who are solely working on the digital experience. You know, their titles are e-marketing specialists, electronic, social media management, and online merchandiser. So there are very dedicated, specific people there that just make sure and are not bothered by what's happening in store or focusing on that stuff, but making sure that that digital experience and that digital store is firing on all cylinders. And again, always important to remember, for every customer that walks through your door, there's at least 25 more that are experiencing you online. So the numbers are much bigger, and they should have just as easy, just as beautiful, and just as enticing of an experience as they have when they walk in. So I will look at a couple questions that came through. If you didn't send any questions through, or you think of them afterwards, we can certainly go through those after. Let's just see what came through. Yeah, so someone had a question about how easy is it to set up your shop and if it can connect with Google as well. So yes, it is kind of connected together. It usually does depend on your the platform of your website in terms of connecting your shop from your website to your Instagram page. There are a few pretty simple instructions to follow if you want to connect it to your Google pages to connect to products through Marketplace. There's a couple steps to follow. Again, if you are using a modern website platform, Shopify, Magento, I think even WooCommerce or WordPress have these tools available. You can see in the back end that there'd be a section called social integration that you can turn on and also make those products there available. So it looks like that's all we had today for questions, guys. Again, if some questions come up after this, please send them through. If you have any questions about any of these things that we went through today, how